There's Todd. Okay,
Upper left corner of the screen.
there he is.
Writing.
All right, it's 7:33. Al, would you like to call the meeting to order?
Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order.
Thank you.
There's Todd. So with that, if we could start with the first application, 6 Oak Street.
So this is James.
Good. This is good. Thanks.
Why don't you tell us your plan and I'll scroll through as needed, James.
Sure. So we bought this place last fall. For background, we live in the city, have a place in Garrison. We intend to move up here in a couple of years when my youngest boy finishes high school. And this house we intend for our cousins to live in, but we're renting it out right now. The fence, the retaining wall here needed to be repaired between my neighbor, I think it's 4 Oak, Bruce Crushaw's house. And the fence was kind of broken and unsightly. It was an old chain link fence, I think really ancient. And so we are proposing to replace it with a good looking cedar fence. Same size, same, height, same length. It's set back from the retaining wall, so it's not, considered part of the same height. So that's the basic background.
And this view that we're looking at right now, this is the fence that this is sort of your side fence, and then
Yes.
this is the rear fence. Is that correct?
Right, and the rear fence is between us and the Verizon building, and
Oh,
we
right.
intend to replace it too, but there's some trees that have grown sort of through it, so it'll take a little more doing.
That was just
But
a bigger project.
yeah, so it's another project. So this is between the Crushaw's house and ours. It's between our 2 yards. It's actually very hard to see because Bruce and Michelle have some very nice trees there that sort of block it, but you can see
So
the
this
trees
is the
there.
view. This is the view looking across their front yard into your yard.
Yeah, so the
Right.
fence is actually behind all those trees.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that makes sense. I'm just going to scroll through the pictures a little bit more. And I can see, so this is the retaining wall that you called out in your drawing.
Right.
And then this is the rear fence between you and Verizon. But for today, you're just asking for the side fence.
That's correct. And
Okay.
it's we took it down. It was it was sort of dangerous and we had planned on replacing it. We wanted to obviously get approval, but it's obviously for safety and aesthetics, we need to replace it. But so this fence that we selected, it was kind of the nicest fence we could find. It's got, if you stand directly perpendicular to it, you can't see through it, but if you stand a little bit at an angle, you can sort of see through it. So it sort of lets air through and lets a little bit of light
Right.
through it. It's sort of a neat combination of privacy and neighborliness.
Mhm.
And this is a 4-foot fence and it's cedar.
Yes.
And I think somewhere on your application it said, so are you actually going to be ordering it in panels, or I think it said somewhere that you were going to be doing it yourself?
Yeah, I've got some people who are going to tell me how to do it. I've got 3
Okay.
strong young boys that I want to enlist
Okay.
in that. But it comes in 8-foot panels, I believe.
Oh, okay. So so the panels are going to be pre-made.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think just as far as the installation is concerned, we do just request that require that the panels hang in between the posts, like you see in this picture,
Yep.
as opposed to being applied to the front of the posts.
Mhm.
Right.
Which also as it's seen here as well. So that's just one of our stipulations for installation.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that's how they work.
Okay.
Do we have a site plan that shows the extent of where the fence is to be installed?
We just have these drawings that were provided by the applicant. So on this drawing, it is just calling it out as being inside of the retaining wall.
Right.
11 feet from the house, is that right?
Yes, and it's 18 inches back from the front of the retaining wall, 92 feet long. It's basically just exactly replacing the existing fence. But you know, a lot nicer.
Okay, so this
Is it
is,
4 feet high on top of the wall, or 4 feet from the
It's
ground?
not on top of the wall, it's behind the wall. So the wall is sort of in front of it, and then in the yard behind the wall is where the fence is.
So the retaining wall is a couple feet high or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's less than 4 feet high. It's whatever it was before. We just repaired it.
I think what Lloyd's trying to get at is that
What's
if,
the overall height when it's done?
Yeah.
well, but the overall height from grade on the inside,
Yes.
obviously, the retaining wall by definition means that the grade on the inside of the wall is higher than it is to the outside, right? So
Right.
is it going to be 4 foot above the grade on the inside?
It's 4 foot above the inside grade. So my
Okay.
house is you know, a little higher than Bruce's house. And so the retaining wall is there to keep my yard from sliding into his.
Yeah.
Which started to happen actually. And then so about 18 inches back is in my yard is a 4 foot high fence.
Okay.
Which is probably to help people from sliding off of the retaining wall.
Right, you know, that like, you know, for safety, like, you know, whatever. I think it's probably almost required to have it, but yeah.
Right. Well, this is a style of fence that we have approved elsewhere in the district.
Okay.
I guess the only thing is that obviously this is a 6 foot high fence because you've got 3 rails, and the chances are for a 4 foot high fence, you only have 2 rails, but I think that's neither here nor there.
Well, it's actually 4 feet high. I'm not sure.
No, I'm talking about the rails, you know.
I think this demonstration photo might be a taller fence, but you've called it
so-
out in the application as being 4
Right.
feet.
Right.
Yeah, what I bought was 4 feet. So yeah, I just copied what was on their website. So maybe you're right. You're right. I'm not an expert on this, but what I actually bought was a 4 foot.
Okay.
Do I have any questions, any other questions from the board members?
No,
Uh,
none from me.
No, none for me.
And
Okay.
just one more for me. It will be cedar or painted? Does it?
It's cedar. I think we're gonna leave it to fade into gray, but we may treat it a little bit so it stays cedar colored for longer. But if either of those are okay with you, whatever, we don't really.
So natural patina. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion concerning the application?
I would make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, and with that, I'll go around. We'll start with Todd.
Aye.
All right, Andrea,
Aye.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
I vote aye.
Great.
Okay. James, you got it.
Thank you very much for your consideration. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So James, over the weekend, Al will stamp your drawings and submit the certificate of appropriateness to the village, to the Cold Spring Village Clerk and to the building department, and then they will give you your building permit.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I'll be sending them out electronically. So even in Madrid, Spain, you will get the approved drawings.
Good. Actually, I'll be back in Garrison tomorrow, but I look forward to that. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Great,
Okay.
safe journey home.
Thank you.
Enjoy Madrid.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Love that place.
Okay, the next application is 13 Parrot Street.
Right.
Hi, Lorraine. Are you able to share the drawings that you've submitted?
Oh, yep, I could do that.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. That's our site plan, if that's the first thing you'd like to look at.
Okay, is that plan?
Sure.
Sure. Do you happen to have a photo of the house itself?
Yep,
Oh, great. Just so people recognize what we're talking about.
yep.
There it is.
There it
And
is.
then we had some photos as well for kind of the view of someone traveling up the street toward the residence as well. But I'll leave these up because these are more of what you were asking.
Yeah, just so that people recognize the house, but we can
Mhm.
move on to the roof plan.
Site plan? Okay. You want me to explain or?
Please.
Sure. Okay, so we're intending to install 49 panels on the residence for a total of 17.64 kW system size. They're going to be flush mounted. They're going to be on. It's going to be on-site consumption. From there, I'm not sure what your particular interest is, so feel free to ask some questions. I can elaborate.
Okay. I guess the question, can you share with us the roof plan again to show where the panels are going to be located?
Where all these black, these are the panels. So it'll be on, this is sort of street facing, the road is here, and then this faces the road as well, but this will face the back. This is the extended portion of the home, and that would be facing east.
Okay. And typically the thing that we're interested in is how the wires from the panels go to. Now, is this going to be a net metering operation, or is there a storage
Correct.
battery?
No.
Okay, so-
Oh, yeah, no. I'm like, wait, did I forget something? But no. Correct. So the disconnect is indicated interior, so that would be where a lot of the where we would be tying in. And typically the plan is to then run it up from the basement into the attic, and then they pull it up through the attic to keep the conduit as discreet as possible. So they run it pretty well under the panels, back down and up through again.
Okay.
So it's pretty disguised. Like we try to make
Yeah.
it as aesthetically pleasing as possible.
Okay, I see the EV charger to be installed. Okay, that's, I guess you're for your car. Yeah.
For the homeowner's car, I'm with Kesselman.
Okay. All right. I guess, is there something which says that the conduit will be inside as opposed to the outside, or how the con?
No, but we could add that to, yeah, see, run conduit, sorry, from basement to garage.
Okay, I'll add a
Or
note that to, I guess, let's phrase it, to the greatest extent possible, conduit will stay within the house.
Mhm.
Or will be installed within the house. How about that?
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so with that note, do I have any questions from the other board members?
No, none for me.
No, it's straightforward.
I
Thank you.
don't have any- None either from me.
Same.
Okay, do I have a motion concerning this application
I would move to approve the application as submitted.
with the note about the conduit?
No, yeah,
I'm sorry, as modified.
I'll second.
Okay, Andrea,
Aye.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So it's approved.
Yay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Great,
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great night, guys.
Very clear.
You too.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is 8 Stone Street. Stacy is representing the homeowners who are also in Spain. It's the summer of Spain.
Yes, it is. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Are you in Spain, Stacy? or-
I am not in Spain. I wish I were, but I am not.
Okay,
Got it. Everyone's on a fabulous vacation. Okay.
Yeah, except us. We're here.
okay.
Okay, so these this is for 8 Stone Street. I think, can you just show the I think you sent a photo of the neighboring house.
I
Okay,
did,
just
yes.
So people know what we're talking about.
Can you see it?
Well,
No, I
we
can
we
only see
see-
the roof plan.
Oh, give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
Here are the neighboring houses right here. Our house is right
Um,
here in the middle.
Yeah, the yellow one in the middle. Great.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Okay, so we'll go back to the site plan. So we're proposing a 5.2 kilowatt system with 13 panels. They're all going on the side of the home right here, so they are visible from the street. And then we have 2 energy storage systems, which are going towards the end of the driveway, so those you won't be able to see from the street.
Okay, where is the street? Is it down where it says 8 Stone Street?
Bottom left.
Yep, right here.
It's where it says front of house. The square in the front is the front porch.
Okay, okay,
So this is actually along the driveway where
Yeah.
the panels are going on the roof along the
Yeah.
driveway between the 2 twin houses.
Yep. And then,
okay, can we go back to the photograph?
sure. And then we also have renderings, so you can get an idea of what they're gonna look like from the street if you want to see those as well.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to those. So this is kind of just like a mock-up of what they would look like if you were on the street looking that direction.
Okay, and I noticed in the roof plan,
Yeah.
there was equipment that was going to be mounted looks like in the driveway, because it looks like basically the driveway is what separates the 2 houses.
Yep, so right here, we will have a relay, and then the rest of the equipment, which is like the, bigger equipment, is gonna be towards the end of the driveway. So that you shouldn't be able to see, but that relay is gonna go by the meter and the rapid shutdown.
Okay, why would you not see it if it's at the end of the driveway?
Typically, we do that because it's a cleaner install, so we don't have to use as much conduit. So they keep it closer to the meter, and it's also more beneficial, in case of an emergency. They typically prefer that we keep the equipment closer to the meter.
Okay, but it will be visible. I mean, looking down the driveway, you're going to see the equipment.
Yes, so you shouldn't, it should just be one piece of equipment, and then the rest, which are the bigger, bulker pieces of equipment, you will not be able to see.
Why is that?
They'll be further down the driveway, so they'll be past street view. So unless you're standing like in front of the house, you most likely will not see it. So right here, these two energy storage systems and the inverters, I can give you an idea of where they're gonna go.
They don't have a fence or anything in front of them, do they? To conceal? Okay. so that-
Let me show you.
I thought that these were going to be wall mounted. Are they?
They are. Yep,
Oh, okay.
they are. So if you can see, so here's the meter right here. Our
Mhm.
equipment's gonna be all the way at the end of the wall, except for
Okay.
the relay.
Okay, but I mean, you have to understand that our purview is to, is over things that you can see from the sidewalk.
From the
And certain-
streetscape, yeah. Mhm.
So
Right.
certainly from the sidewalk, you can walk by there and look down the driveway and see this equipment. Right?
Okay,
JC, could you flip ahead in the presentation to, you have the cut sheet for the actual power wall itself.
we do.
Could you just show that to the board just so they have an idea of what the equipment is that you're talking about?
Sure. And just for reference, here's another photo where they're proposed. And so this is our energy storage system right here.
Okay, is that going to be mounted on
the wall.
on the wall of the house?
Yes.
Okay, can you go back to that photograph?
Sure.
Yeah, right there. Now, am I correct that the gate to the backyard is right there?
Yes.
Okay, how far from the wall do these storage units project?
They should go about 2 feet from the wall, if that.
Okay, so that's going to be 2 feet into access to the rear yard, right?
Right, so they'll come up a little bit off the house, but you'll still have access. It likely won't even be 2 feet.
Okay,
Wait, I'm sorry, you're saying that the power wall itself is 2 feet deep? unit,
Less than
or-
2
or
feet.
you-
I actually have the exact
Because on this drawing, it says that it's less than 6 inches.
here. So they are 45 by 29 by 5.7. That's the exact measurement of these.
Oh, so you're saying that it's
So
gonna
they're-
be 2 feet?
I'm
it's
sorry,
gonna
you're
be
actually-
2
I'm
feet
sorry,
off
you're-
the wall.
Yep, you're actually correct. So 5.75 inches is what it's gonna come off. If you look right here,
So it's a 6-inch
right,
slab, which is gonna be set 2 feet in from the back corner of the house.
right.
Okay,
And then what's going in the front by the meter?
So all that's going in the front by the meter,
it looks like some disconnect switches.
yeah, exactly. Yep, so just, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Okay, yeah. AC, we're not talking about air conditioning, we're talking about AC current. Disconnect
Right,
the meter and the RSD switch. Okay, and a relay. All right, so essentially what we're talking about are the panels are up on the roof.
Yep.
And okay, and what is the INV? Is that the inverter?
yes, that's the
INV?
inverter. Yep,
All right, so we've got 2 of these storage units which are mounted on the side of the wall. And
Yep.
they will project about 6 inches away from the exterior wall.
Right.
And basically some disconnect switches up front.
yes.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
I really don't have any kind of objection to this project.
Okay.
nor do I.
Other
it-
door.
it feels like a minimal impact, especially considering the fact that, you know, older technologies stick out. I don't know how to put it more. I don't know. They stick out way more. This is more elegant than a lot of what we've seen.
Great.
Okay, Todd?
And I think taking into consideration that it is, unlike the previous application, which the style of the house is different and they do have a garage and they do have the ability to run the things on the
Yeah.
interior, this seems like the least amount of impact for a house of this size and this style to have it at the
Yep.
end of a driveway.
I agree.
I agree too. It's a pretty slim system, so I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to encourage more of this technology, and I don't know how else to do it without accepting the fact that, like, we're talking about 6 inches of space.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you. I'm glad
okay.
this-
So then do I have a motion concerning the application?
I will make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll start with Sean,
Aye.
Andrea,
aye.
Lloyd,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So it's approved.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
So as we previously mentioned, Al will process all the paperwork over the weekend and he will get it over to you and the village clerk and the building inspector and the applicants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
The next item on the agenda is a workshop with Serena and James Gary, who are the owners of 8 Depot Square, who just wanted to ask us some questions about their project. And they're probably not expecting this meeting to have gone so quickly, so they're probably not even near their computers right now, but
Did a good job.
oh, there you are.
Very-
Yeah.
Hi.
Fourth item on the agenda, you probably thought it would be 10 p.m. before we saw you, but
Well, came early with a lot of, hope that it would go quick, and it sure did. I'm not in Spain, so
we may not be
Sorry.
able to
My
hear your
condolences.
application.
I mean, did I pick up that right? I know the first gentleman, James, which I was like, oh, I hope they're not thinking I'm not answering. And then he picked up and I was like, oof, good, was in Spain. But then the second person was in Spain, or we just thought they were in Spain and they
Everyone's
weren't?
in Spain.
The owners were in Spain, but the woman was not. She was the local rep.
Ah, okay, understood. Yeah, okay, cool. So we acquired this property about a year ago. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. I have a quick PowerPoint. It might just help visually like zoom in on where it is, and I'm sure you guys will recognize it. If you don't
Sure. Sure.
have an objection, I can just present this slideshow. If you can give
Go
me that
ahead.
power.
Yep. You have the power.
yes, you should have it.
I have the power. Okay, now I just have to figure out how to use it. Hold on a second, guys. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, here's this property. Are you guys familiar? You go to the end of Main Street, take a right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's the depot, and it's across the street from the depot, which is the former train station, right? So
Yep.
here's this picture where it is. And found this one pretty recently, actually. I think this is the best representation from a postcard, which I thought was pretty neat. I hope you guys appreciate it. Been trying really hard to read these, but I get something like Hendix livery and something stables at the end is what it comes up. So I thought it was a pretty nifty photo or image that we picked up from the internet.
Yeah.
And another one just kind of on the other side of it with the backstory here, not the foreground, but the back. So wanted to share that. And, you know, the aim of the joining on was to obviously do a workshop, try to understand, you know, what we should be thinking, what we shouldn't be thinking, and get some ideas, right? Because we want to take it from, you know, something like this to something that's a little more dynamic and true to the village. And here we are trying to figure it all out. What I do know is R1, so it's around the corner and to the right. So it's not on Main Street, it's not commercial, but it's residential 1. And then when we purchased it, the previous owners had it operated as multifamily. So there were about 6 separate spaces in there being occupied and rented out. And I think half to the owner's family and then 2 or 3 to renters. But as it stands now, we don't have anyone in there. So we can start and do what we'd like to do. But wanted to just brainstorm with you and see what you guys are thinking about this building, or if we could, at the minimum, try to figure out what process we should be thinking about as we start to propose ideas to the village. So that was my longer than expected preamble, but hopefully it sets it all up for a nice conversation. So what do you guys think we should do with this building?
Oh, boy.
I think that's a question for the comprehensive plan, and or maybe you can speak to the Chamber of Commerce about that. But
well, I think we'd like to make it look better. That would be a minimum. And I guess we're just going back and forth about, you know, is there a possibility to turn this back into commercial underneath, or if we shouldn't consider that. It's really about, you know, this little cul-de-sac, and there's kind of some interesting dynamics to the cul-de-sac. But I think here in the current version, I think there's a proposal in front of one of the boards to make this a one-way street to stop some of the traffic flow. But I don't know if that's as relevant.
Well, let me just say first off, like, I would love to see this building restored.
We would too.
God, that would make me happy.
Well, I guess let me sort of interject something before we sort of get off the track on this. One, what you're looking for is ideas as far as uses. We have no say in that matter. And so what we can describe is what we're hoping to see as far as exterior changes. Obviously, the building has been around for quite a while. It was the horse parking lot right at the train station, our parking garage. And so that was the original use of the building. And so I don't think that's something that you probably would want to return to, because I don't think there's much of a call for a livery. So, but I think that I'm sort of curious, because none of the exterior features that you see in this image are visible today. And so have you done any exploration of what's under the cladding?
Not yet, but super curious to see. So from the interior, we can see that there's wood on the exterior, but we haven't peeled back that fantastic aluminum siding yet. So we don't know what the options are in terms of that. It could be perfectly the same right behind it, just not sure.
That happens a lot. I mean, not to get ahead of someone like Al, who's seen this for 30 years, but like in my tenure on this board, we've seen siding peeled off that has revealed amazing things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because usually, and again, we deal with just exterior appearances. And I know that in some instances, the overlay of exterior cladding, whether it's aluminum or vinyl or whatever, was done just to eliminate the maintenance issue. But the substrate, the material, original material, very often is still in relatively good shape, may
Mhm.
require some repair work. So I think it's something which, from our particular point of view, I think that that you should look into and sort of do some tests in certain areas. I just have to wonder if that brown stuff, is that clapboard or brick from the inside?
Rick.
I always got the impression that it, oh, wait, are you talking about the first story or the second
First,
story?
first story, yeah.
Oh. I have the Chris report for it.
Oh. Wow.
That I share, that I put on our server, which but it is from 1975, so it had already been
Oh.
clad.
Hmm.
But they're calling it masonry, load-bearing masonry with clapboard and stone siding.
Yeah, the Chris, I mean, not like, I'm not saying that it's not accurate, but the Chris stuff from the 1970s, in my own experience, has been like pretty inaccurate.
Mhm.
Um,
It was also saying that it was built in 1965, so.
yeah, it's a weird building. Honestly. Oh, God.
I think I'm thinking about it, looking at this picture here and
It's,
wanting, if you do proceed with commercial, which isn't in our purview on the lower level, I would want to maintain some of the integrity around the garage door openings and maintain the appearance of a stable that it was. So I wouldn't want to see you blow out the whole bottom and make it like
yeah.
storefront from corner to corner. I would want
Oh,
to infill those garages
Sorry,
with,
Andrea.
with some glass and doors and rather than modernizing the whole base. So you can still tell that it was a stable.
Yeah, and I would just go add on to Lloyd's point that regardless of what the planned use of the building is, whether it is residential or commercial or retail, I would still encourage you to keep the language of its original use in your design.
Very well put.
Part of our sort of design guidelines for any adaptive reuse of any building is to remain faithful to its original purpose and its original design intention, regardless of what you're using it for. So I think that that would be an area, particularly on the first floor, where I would like to see continuity with the with some of the older images that you have. I'm sure obviously you have this postcard. I know that there's some in the book, the little brown book. Every time we have a meeting, I can never find this book, and it's always like on my desk. But anyway, the little around Cold Spring book, I'm sure
around
there's
Cold
images.
Spring.
I'm sure there's images in there as well, and maybe some different views. And you can speak to the Putnam History Museum. I think the presence of it in the village, and also its proximity to the depot itself, you're probably going to find, if you do some research, I'm sure you'll find lots of different views of it taken from different angles, even if it's not kind of the star of the photo like the other one. But I guess the other thing about, just from a process standpoint, we can only really respond, we can only really give feedback on designs which are presented to us, rather than sort of designing them from scratch. So I would just encourage you to, as you move along with your ideas, you know, we can have additional workshops and we can talk through ideas and variations and things like that. But ultimately, we can only really respond to what you present, and we aren't really capable of designing the building for you, which is the hardest thing for us to admit, but that's unfortunately the truth of it. We are not allowed to, we're not allowed to design it for you. So I would just encourage you to you know, think about exactly what it is that you're hoping to achieve from it from a programmatic standpoint.
Mhm.
And as you move along that course, we can, you know, respond to proposals. You don't have to come back to us at our next meeting with a fully fleshed out, designed project. You know, we can meet with you as often as you need to work through different elements of it.
Awesome.
A
Yeah.
couple of things which I would like to pass on. One is that obviously from this image that we have here, the building is an old building. It obviously has been in the village for a long time.
Mhm.
We would very much like to be able to preserve as much of the historic fabric as we can. So as you're removing stuff or as you're peeling away the layers of this onion, we would really request that you're careful with what you find underneath, because and this is just a guess on my part, most of what we see seems to be made of some fairly durable materials. The upper part is Tudor half timber construction, and I don't know what is between the wood posts, and because that's probably post and beam construction above the masonry, but very often that the infill was it was brick and a stucco finish.
Yeah.
So you're talking about something which is, you know, if it was covered over while it was still in good shape, is probably still in good shape, and so we would like to keep as much of what was there originally as is reasonable. So I think that this is a one of the buildings that probably has a long history, and if you could find out as much about the history of it as possible, it'll also probably give you some ideas of how you can possibly use the structure now.
Right.
One more thing that I would add to that as well too is that, you know, we do need to consider the building from any it's changes that are visible from any public right of way.
Mhm.
And it being where it is sort of on a down a hill from a lower street, you're just going to want to be sure that when you're considering any changes, it isn't just those kind of two facades that we were just looking at that we will be scrutinizing. Obviously, there are facades which are more prominent or more important, but you are just going to want to make sure that sort of in the round, anything that's visible from Stone Street behind it or even further up the hill, we'll just want to make sure that we take those views into consideration if there is going to be anything changing on the rear or the roof or anything like that.
I just want to add to what Al was saying about keeping what's underneath the siding. Even if it looks pretty far deteriorated, often it gives very good clues about what to replace it with in kind. So don't toss stuff away. I guess that's what I'm getting at, until you're sure.
I agree. Yeah.
Keep it and document it and look at it and study it, because it'll just make your life easier in the construction process.
I learned a lot at the town hall, just researching. So we had questions about James and Juhi's building on Main Street, and I kind of like looked into that and then found out a lot about our town. And I don't know, I don't know, maybe I can find out something more about this building.
Well, the Putnam County Historical Society, or is that what it's called nowadays?
They're no help. I'm sorry
know.
to say, Al,
I agree with you. I mean, as
there's-
far, well, let me put it this way, as far as personnel goes, they're not very cooperative, but
no,
they
they
do
don't
have
like
a
to
lot.
share.
Yeah, they do have a lot of information, so,
And we
that's the shame of it.
the new director, I met the new director, Cassie. She's very, seems very amenable to working with us. So they put together that.
Okay, that'd be great. I also had like awesome success with finding out a lot of information in the Carmel office.
Okay.
The Putnam County Historian's Office.
Yes, exactly. Mhm.
And if you are able to get names of those actual businesses who occupied the space, you may be able to do kind of greater searches for information about the businesses.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to know. It would be really interesting.
Give you a little bit more information about the history of the building.
Yeah, a clue upon a clue, right? And then we'll get another clue and then put together a bigger picture. Yeah, so, Serena and I, we really have a vision of getting this building, into a place where it's back to where it was, and, the sense that it's being useful, because right now it's not representative of the village, and it's not doing its job. I mean, so as we're contemplating, and again, this is early days, right? We're just talking right now, trying to figure this out, and you have to start somewhere. So we do have a little information, but we'll get more. Super curious, and have been since we acquired it, what's underneath that aluminum, but haven't pulled anything to find out. And again, we just starting. And wow, what if we get lucky and it's just this most beautiful preserved thing and everything's good?
We've seen it before. Sorry to interrupt, but like on Main Street, what the heck was the address? We found like a beautiful preserved intact like facade that was on Main Street, the Yellow House.
The Yellow House, which upper or lower?
It was across, oh God, I'm forgetting the address. Remember the Janine Sisson who put in the pool?
Above Chestnut Academy. She's on.
Yeah, Academy and Main.
On that corner.
That gorgeous house. And she
Oh,
tore off the siding and found this beautiful originally intact siding.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see what happens.
Well, you never know.
There's been a little neglect to the building. There's some structural issues with it already. They're cutting holes in the ceiling or the roof quite frequently. So we'll see what happened with that. But until we really get in there, we're not gonna know. But hey, that's the roof, right? So let's not worry about it until we need to worry about it. So it sounds like, and I'm hearing what you guys are saying. It sounds like you're interested in understanding more than just like, this is the history of the facade. You want to like get a little more 360, which is cool. So as we're learning, we'll share. And if you guys pick up anything or know of any paths for us to figure that out. Like, for example, I didn't consider the Putnam If I could you repeat the name of the entity that's out in the county?
I'm
to
willing
help
to
them?
help you. I just happened to I ended up there. The Putnam History
It's,
Museum is not, they're a little cagey about their information, but if you go to the
Carmel.
Carmel kind of county seat and find your way there to find the
Putnam County Historian,
yeah,
Office of the Putnam County Historian. And the only reason that name sticks in my mind is because he traveled all the way over here to torpedo the Butterfield Hospital.
Gotcha.
So maybe he can be useful some other way.
He can redeem himself in our eyes.
Right.
Okay, so we'll follow up. Again, trying to be judicious with your time, so not looking to get on calendar until we have something material to talk about, and take that guidance around, you're not involved in design, but you can certainly give opinion if we're keeping true to the historic, how do I say that word? Just
Fabric.
use or I like that the fabric of it, and come back as we progress. So as they say on the TV, stay tuned.
Okay.
Wonderful.
We appreciate it. And if we can help in your research in any ways, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, thanks. Have a nice evening.
All right,
I think I'm the
thank
last
you.
on the agenda, so bye for now.
Nice to see you.
night.
Night.
Okay. Board business, public comment? None.
No comment from the public.
Okay.
I started writing what we're going to propose to the trustees in our board report, but I didn't finish it, so I will just email it around before I send it to Jeff. But basically, for Lloyd and for Andrea, who were in here last meeting, Laura Bazzi, Trustee Bazzi, is in the process of applying for an ICERTA grant for the village to open up some funding for different sustainable initiatives.
Wow.
One of the ways of getting funding is what's this thing which is called the Unified Solar Permit, which is attempts to streamline the permitting process for solar panels. That does not prevent HDRB review. Our reviewing of solar panels doesn't conflict with adopting the Unified Solar Permit. However, we decided, as the three of us who were here last time, that in a way of extending our using our sort of capabilities to increase the accessibility or reduce obstacles to solar panels, we are going to request that the trustees allow for us to waive our HDRB fees for any permits for solar panels or COAs for solar panels. So, yes.
Well, that, and also we were going to write a little handout.
We're going
for
to pull out
best practices.
a sort of one-page best practices design guideline thing, which will be displayed on the website independent from the rest of the design guidelines, so that people can just find that information quickly. And that'll be things like, avoiding prominent facades, hiding the conduit, putting equipment further back
Right.
on the lot line. So
Parallel
the
with
short
the
term
roof.
would be to, so the short term thing would be to ask the trustees next week about waiving our fees. And then the medium term thing would be to put together this one-page document whenever anyone has free time to put that together. So that's the update, but I will send the actual language around via email if anyone has a comment, but essentially it'll just be a nicer version of what I just said. Can we look at the minutes from the last meeting? It was only Todd and Al and I.
I'm
Um,
horribly, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I missed the meeting.
That's okay. These are the minutes from the July 20th meeting. We didn't have any applications. It was just the discussion that we had with trustee Bazey and approval of some other minutes. This is just basically the long-winded version of what I just explained to everybody.
It says CEO Greg Warner. Oh, code enforcement. Okay.
Code enforcement officer.
It's like, what does that stand for?
He's the boss.
Yeah, it's the boss.
Are there any comments, Al or Todd?
No.
Oh,
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
They don't have.
Okay,
Just us three.
just us three. So,
The last item, Lloyd, you said you were going to reach out to Kirsten about billing per the request of the village treasurer.
I did today. I haven't heard anything back, nor
Okay.
an update from her on she has the draft, but yeah, I'll check again tomorrow.
Okay.
do we have anything in the design standards that talks about solar panels? I'm sure we do, because, you know, I do remember that that was some of the thing. I'm just trying to think as far as initiating a draft version of this one-page document. Can you just check on that, Lloyd, and let me know, what?
Yeah, I'm checking. I can probably find it.
I do know that, as we discussed in the last session, that one of the resource guides that we have not completed, that we've tabled, is the one about green building and sustainable building writ large. So understanding that to be the plan, I don't know how much we actually put into the A to Z about solar.
We have a blurb in A to Z about solar panels, not very long, with a picture of River Architects, and then we have, that's it. Let's see, one other. Where's this reference page? 7. It's so small on my screen here, I can't see what it's highlighting when it highlights the word solar. Oh, we have, oh, excuse me, I'm not feeling too well. A little thing about energy efficiency and climate change preparedness in the front section.
I think that the whole topic of energy efficiency is a little bit larger in the context of historic buildings, but I think that the one for solar panels, we can, what we're looking for is a one-pager, and so I think certainly the blurb is a start, and so maybe if you can send that around to everybody, and we can sort of take a look at documents that we may have and kind of flesh that out to, as quickly as possible, so that we can at least get it up and running.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
1 minute over an hour. Okay.
I'll
Do I have a second?
Seconding.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I
Anybody opposed?
Opposition.
Oh, wait, I just have a question.
Oh, it's already, it's done, Sean. Sorry.
No, well, it's a non-binding. The 17th,
not allowed.
our August meeting, do we have quorum for that night? It is usually a
Oh.
meeting that we typically cancel.
Oh,
Because
hold on. August, wait,
I'm pretty sure I'm around.
if
I
it's the
think
end of August, I might not.
it's 2 weeks.
I may be in Spain.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be in Spain. I might be with my parents.
There.
Oh, they love meetings. All right, just
You might
let
wanna
me
put-
know.
Andrea.
Let me know whether we want to have that meeting. As of now, there are some referrals that are out, but no live applications that we haven't been able to see.
Okay.
If we would like to give ourselves a meeting off to celebrate the summer, we should alert Jeff ASAP so that he just takes it off the calendar.
I mean, I would not be opposed to not having a meeting if it's gonna just end up being like 30 minutes of,
I agree.
I don't like seeing all of your faces, but if we don't have anything pressing, why don't we just can it?
Gee, Todd.
Why don't we do this? I can alert Jeff. I can tell Jeff that we will not be accepting applications until the September meeting. Lloyd, could you speak to Kirsten, and in the event that she has anything for us to look at, we will meet on the 17th and we'll only do that. If not, we will just move on to September.
Okay.
Okay,
That sound good?
That sounds
Sounds
good.
like a plan.
Okay, so I will write to Jeff that we are not seeing new applications. I hopefully did not tell anybody that that was our next meeting.
Well,
We can always,
put it this way, that based on the fact that we haven't gotten any applications, that we've decided that we
What can we
will
do?
not, yeah, we're not going to accept applications on the short circuit, on the short-term notice or short notice, so that the 17th is out.
Okay, great.
Right.
And
Alright.
so Lloyd, just let us know ASAP whether, and perhaps even tell her that that would be the next time we would be meeting, and if she wants to
Okay.
work towards it, that would be great.
I'll do that.
All right, cool. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.